that were going to kill me aren't there. That isn't to say that all negative patterns and all negative thought has somehow miraculously gone away because I eat leaves. It's not the case. I still have to practice mindful living every day. There are days when I feel very serene and very connected, and I'll get in my car in Los Angeles, and in 15 minutes I'm ready to kill somebody. It's really a process. There's this notion that there's some place on earth where we get rid of all these negative patterns. The only way I was able to do that was when I was totally stoned. And they came back with a greater force. I didn't get rid of them, but what I do, there are certain practices that I engage in during the day that modify or mitigate those negative patterns. And one of them is eating properly, exercising. Also, the company that I keep. I no longer spend my time trying to convince people that don't love me that they should. Rather, I engage with people that are positive, and it's not to say that everybody has to fit a certain mold, but I like to be around people that are taking care of themselves and are concerned about other people.
Very nice message. Thank you. Question from James. Go.
Well, let the lady go first.
All right, we have a question.
How is your master going? Did you finish your
masters? Oh, yeah. Did you do your PhD?
Masters.
No, I didn't.
Masters.
That's another commitment I wasn't prepared to undertake. That would have been that would have been a number of years. I have about another year's worth of work to do my masters. And I stopped. The reason I stopped was because of the tour. I couldn't carry a graduate load of work while touring the film. I tried doing work on airplanes. I'm not good at it.
No.
You can get back to that in a few years.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you will get back to it probably.
I stopped at my PhD.
James, you had one?
Frank, I want to ask you, I don't know if it's just good filmmaking, these self-affirmations. When did you feel that they were making a difference, and how did you know? And are you still using self-affirmation these days?
The way that I knew that they were making a difference was when I no longer internally convulsed. When I would say certain things, because there was a time when I felt that it was such a lie. It was such a lie that God was going to personally come down and strike me.
That's the Roman Catholic in you.
And so I just felt that it was so disingenuous. And the thing that I learned was that feeling. When I reevaluated what that feeling was, it was an indicator telling me whether work was necessary. Because for example, to say something like "I am beautiful" or "I am intelligent," it's not like it's just a fact. It's not really tooting my horn. And all of you are intelligent too. But something about saying that really made me cringe inside. It just made me feel like it just felt wrong, and it was just, and a lot of that to do with self-image. And what I found was, as I continued to use the affirmations, and I still use them today, which is the answer to the other part of your question. What I found was that I became more comfortable with who I really was instead of uncomfortable with what I didn't know about myself.
Wow. Thank you. We have a question there. Yes.
How is the relationship with your daughter?
Yes. How's your relationship with your daughter?
My relationship with my daughter is great. She actually, as I mentioned, I was in Orlando with Mike Dooley, and I was fortunate enough to be asked to be one of the speakers there. And she met me because she lived 2 hours away from there, and she filmed it. And my relationship with my daughter is great. We talk all the time. We talk all the time. Asks me questions about her boyfriend. And I said,
Whoa.
what do you mean you have a boyfriend? You're only 32. What do you do? So, it's cool.
Amazing. You have a question here?
Yes. How's your love life now?
Yeah, oh. Loaded question, loaded
I have a
question.
wife. There is one.
Ah, yes. How many marriage proposals did you have, Frank?
I beg your pardon?
How many marriage proposals did you have since you put out the movie?
Oh,
Lost count.
Lost count.
The next question, please.
You said no questions, Bart. Here.
That's true, but that doesn't mean I have to answer.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I'm not sure how to put the question together, but it's about when you relapse, you got up again. So what was missing that now, something around that you learned something and then that you hadn't learned first? What made you get up again?
The relapse, most people that are not familiar with addiction, and most people aren't because they really shouldn't be, think that there's an event that takes place that triggers the relapse. So a divorce or some kind of calamity in their lives. My experience is that it takes something to stay. It takes a certain practice to stay healthy. Eat right, exercise, and take care of your spiritual practice. The same is true for sobriety. I needed to go to meetings. I needed to tell people what was going on with me. I needed to be honest, and I stopped being those things. I stopped going to meetings. I stopped doing the practice that I needed to do to stay sober, and I relapsed.
What made you get up?
The will to live was stronger than the desire to die.
Okay.
Beautiful.
And also, really, I really think it was divine intervention. I mean, I know I did a lot of the heavy lifting, but I really believe that if it weren't for divine intervention, I wouldn't be here. That woman that found me in my room, she came on a whim. There was no reason for her to come there. She just told me that she had a whim to Valerie, saw the name at the end of the movie. She just decided that she was going to check on me for no reason. There was no reason for her to need to do that. On a whim, she came to check. And she noticed that it was one of those hotels where the car is parked in front of the room. And she noticed the car, and when she knocked on the door and no one answered, she panicked and called 911. And then shortly thereafter, a team of guys came in the room trying to keep me from turning blue. And so I'm only partly responsible for my good fortune.
That's great. James, another.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Frank, are you still living in San Francisco? And if you are, when's the last time you saw the three amigos?
Yeah.
Well, I'm currently living in Los Angeles, and the Three Amigos opened up a restaurant here, and they're opening another one shortly. So they're here all the time, so I see the boys all the time.
That's great. That's great.
Would you do another 42 days of strictly 100% raw?
Absolutely. Are you filming it?
I might have a gig, yeah. I would like
Yeah,
that.
we'll all do it.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
This is Frank on Unplugged, yes.
Frank Unplugged, is that what
Unplugged and not edited.
It's Montreal, man.
This is Montreal, we are very...
It's Frank Unhinged, is what it is.
Hello, my name's Melissa. I just want to say thank you. I was really touched by the movie.
I don't know if I can say that.
I went through kind of a similar process, but on a smaller scale. I had a drinking problem, and I quit, and I went through a big transformation, and it was like being in another high, kind of.
You know, I can't hear you, by the way.
Oh, okay, come closer, come closer.
Go to the front. Just a moment, Frank. We're clear space.
I'm here for you.
He won't
Okay.
bite.
So my name's Melissa, and
Come here, just like this.
okay.
Step right up.
There you go.
I just want to say thank you. I really enjoyed it, but I went through like a similar process, I would say, on a smaller scale. And it's been about 2 years that I went through it. Like I quit drinking and I broke up with a boyfriend of 8 years and big changes, career, And that was kind of the high, the transformation. Do you know what I mean? Like, wow, my life can change, things are great, and then dealing with the emotional stuff, coming up and up. But then once the dust settles, then you go back to daily life. And, you know, like I had addiction problems too, and I think that's always looking for the high. And it's hard to stay in the middle. And so I don't know if you have any advice about that, or like, sorry, the movie kind of cracked me open. So, but
bless your heart. Well,
yeah.
first of all, I want to acknowledge you for having the courage to come up and